Good morning students, come back again. Now today we will discuss about the regulation of the urea cycle. There are the two types of regulation. One is coarse regulation of the harsh regulation, the coarse regulation, and one is the fine regulation. It's a fine tuning like regulation. The coarse regulation, this regulation occurs through the gene expression regulation. Okay. Regulation of the gene expression in the coarse regulation, it is the important thing. Now this coarse regulation, by this regulation the urea cycle can be upregulated, in which condition the cycle will be upregulated in the condition of high protein catabolism. Now think about when the high protein catabolism occurs. High protein catabolism occurs in number one, starvation or your prolonged fasting state. When you are in starvation, when a person is in starvation, then his or her carbohydrate sources are finished. Then the protein sources are required to the fulfillment of the fuel of his body. So the amino acid catabolism will occur, and if the more amino acid catabolism occurs, then the urea cycle will run more and more. Okay, that is the upregulation of urea cycle. Number one, that is the starvation or prolonged fasting, and number two is high protein diet. The completely opposite. That's the completely opposite. One is starvation and another is high protein diet. In high protein diet, what occurs? It is also upregulated. How it is possible? Now another term is the Atkins diet. High protein diet is also called the Atkins diet. In this diet, what occurs? If you take high proteins, proteins are not stored directly, amino acids are not stored directly. That will form proteins you have taken will break down into amino acids and new proteins will form. Now in this step, what occurs? The amino acid catabolism is also occurs. The amino acid catabolism is more and more. If you intake more protein, amino acid catabolism will more. If the amino acid catabolism is more, the urea cycle will run more. So the urea cycle is upregulated. In the urea cycle, in the fourth enzymatic step, you know, that is the argininosuccinate lyase. In this argininosuccinate lyase step, fumarate is released as byproduct. If the fumarate is released as byproduct, it can be converted into the malate, and this malate enter into the hepatic mitochondria and generate the TCA cycle by malate to oxaloacetate and the TCA cycle. So TCA cycle will also run simultaneously, that is the urea bicycle. Now the TCA cycle is running simultaneously, then what occurred? If TCA cycle is run simultaneously, there will be the acetyl-CoA which enters into the TCA cycle. But you know the acetyl-CoA has another fate also. Acetyl-CoA can synthesize new fatty acids. Okay. If the TCA cycle runs more and more by this high protein diet, then what occurs? The acetyl-CoA will not be free to synthesis the new fatty acids. The all acetyl-CoA is catabolized through the TCA cycle. Okay, that's why new fatty acid synthesis will not occur. So high protein diet can help you to decrease your body weight if you are obese person. Okay, now come to the fine regulation. This fine regulation occurs through N-acetyl glutamate. I have mentioned previously that N-acetyl glutamate is the obligatory allosteric activator of CPS1, that is the carbamoyl phosphate synthetase 1, which is the rate limiting step of the urea cycle. That's why one important thing I have not mentioned previously, so I am mentioning here, this CPS1 enzyme is also called pacemaker enzyme. The pacemaker in heart which generates the pace, like that the CPS1 carbamoyl phosphate synthetase 1 enzyme is the pacemaker enzyme of the urea cycle. Now what occurs in fine regulation also occurs in the high protein catabolic state. In high protein catabolic state, so there will be the excess glutamate in blood because the amino groups are funneled through glutamate. So excess glutamate in blood. So excess glutamate will reach in liver, you know it. So there will be the excess glutamate reach by reactions that will upregulation of the urea cycle. More glutamate present, more ammonia will be released in liver. So there is the upregulation of the urea cycle. Now how this occurs? This glutamate now the main reaction is that glutamate is converted into N-acetyl glutamate, which is the allosteric obligatory activator of this urea cycle of this CPS1 enzyme. Okay, glutamate to N-acetyl glutamate. This acetyl group is donated by the active acetyl group donor, that is acetyl CoA. So acetyl CoA is released and N-acetyl glutamate is formed. Now the enzyme required is the NAG synthase, that is N-acetyl glutamate synthase. This is upregulated. This enzyme is again upregulated by arginine and glutamate. These two amino acids upregulate the NAG synthase enzyme or activate the NAG synthase enzyme. These amino acids will be more when the excess glutamate is present. That is a high protein catabolic state. In high protein catabolic state, the amino acids, any amino acids are more in our blood. Okay. So concept is clear. Now come to the amino acids involved in the urea cycle. What are the amino acids which are involved in urea cycle? Remember my previous classes, the cycle proper. Which amino acids are required? Tell me, what are the amino acids which are required in the urea cycle? Step by step. At first, ornithine. Number 2, that is citrulline. Ornithine, citrulline. Number 3, in the third enzymatic step, that is argininosuccinate synthetase step, which amino acid comes? Aspartate. Ornithine, citrulline, aspartate. Number 4, argininosuccinate, which is synthesized in that step. Argininosuccinate. Number 5, which amino acid? Number 5, tell me. Obviously arginine. And another amino acid is present. Tell me. That is, yes, obviously. Number 6 is N-acetyl glutamate. N-acetyl glutamate, NAG. N-acetyl glutamate. These are the 6 amino acids. 6 amino acids involved in urea cycle. Step by step. Ornithine, citrulline, aspartate, argininosuccinate, arginine and N-acetyl glutamate. Now come to the urea cycle disorders. Why the disorders will occur? Due to deficiency of those enzymes. Okay. Number 1, CPS1 enzyme deficiency. Firstly, urea cycle disorders. Those urea cycle disorders are named as familial hyperammonemia. I have written the name here. It is the familial hyperammonemia. Familial hyperammonemia. Emia. Anything worse? In last there is emia. Emia means in blood. So hyperammonemia. Ammonia level is increased in blood. Okay. That is the hyperammonemia. Familial hyperammonemia. CPS1 deficiency. The disorder name is familial hyperammonemia type 1. FH means familial hyperammonemia type 1. Ornithine transcarbamylase deficiency, familial hyperammonemia type 2. Argininosuccinate ASS, argininosuccinate synthetase deficiency. If there is the argininosuccinate synthetase deficiency, there will be hypercitrullinemia. Okay, hypercitrullinemia. You know the citrulline comes through the ORC into the cytosol from mitochondria, joins with the aspartate and forms the argininosuccinate by the enzyme argininosuccinate synthetase. So if this is the deficient, then the citrulline will be more, so that will be hypercitrullinemia. Now ASL, that is the argininosuccinate lyase deficiency. If there is the deficiency in the fourth enzyme, that is argininosuccinate lyase, this argininosuccinate lyase deficiency will lead to accumulation of argininosuccinate. Okay, argininosuccinate, that is the argininosuccinic acid. This argininosuccinic acid will accumulate, as it is the acid, so there will be the acid urea. So argininosuccinic acid urea. Okay, argininosuccinic acid urea. Now arginase deficiency, if there is the arginase deficiency, obviously arginine will accumulate, that is the hyperargininemia. Hyperargininemia. Okay, and the ORC means the ornithine carrier protein deficiency due to the defect in the gene ORNT1 gene. That's why the antipode protein will not synthesis properly. So defective ORC, there will be HHH syndrome. I have mentioned in previous video. HHH syndrome, hyperammonemia, homocitrullinemia. Okay, HHH syndrome. Thank you.